Welcome everybody to Bedbug TV. I'm your host, Jeff White. And in today's episode I want to talk to everybody about bedbugs, pregnancy, newborn children, and children's furniture. I receive a lot of emails from people who, just found out that they're expecting a child or, just had a newborn child and are concerned about bedbugs that either are suspected or have been confirmed inside their home and quite frankly are panic-stricken because, they're going through the stress of newborn children or pregnancy, and the last thing that you need to be worried about is bedbugs and pesticides and all the lovely things that come along with that. I'm coming to you today from my child's room. I have a 1-year-old, and so I know quite well, about the stresses of pregnancy and newborn children. And bedbugs is the last thing that you need to be worried about. And so the first thing I want to address in this video are pesticides and pesticide use around newborn children or pregnant or expecting moms. I receive a lot of emails, and as I said, the most important point, are pesticides or these pesticides, whatever it may be, A, B, and C, safe to be applied around me or my newborn child? The first thing that you need to understand is that is a question that needs to be directed towards your physician, doctor, OBGYN, a medical professional. That is not a question for your pest control person to be answering. And I answer the questions the same way. Ask your pest control company for the MSDS sheets for the pesticides they're about to apply. MSDS stands for Material Safety Data Sheet. All pesticides have them, and you can take those, and they have a lot of scientific and technical information associated with them. Give them to your doctor or physician, and they can answer the question on whether or not it should be applied around you as a pregnant mom or a newborn child. And that really is the way to go with that. Unfortunately, I see too many people answering that question like, oh yeah, these pesticides are safe. No, that's for a doctor to answer. Let's leave that to the professionals who know that field. And let's, as the pest control industry, take care of the bedbug infestation. And so go to your doctors with the MSDS sheets and ask them that question. They're the right person to answer it. Now, if, God forbid, you did confirm bedbugs and, you are in one of those situations, what's the next step? Now, your doctor may say it is safe to use these pesticides around you as a pregnant mom or your newborn child, and you may feel, I still don't feel comfortable. There have been things in the past that people thought were okay and they ended up not being okay, and so, I don't even want to go down that road. I don't want to use pesticides, or I don't want to use synthetically derived pesticides. And that's fine. I completely understand. Just be aware that if you are going to use all natural pesticides, that it can be difficult to eliminate an entire bedbug infestation just using all natural pesticides. If you caught it early on enough and there are only a few bugs, it can probably be done. But if it has been there for a little while, let's say 3 to 6 months, which believe it or not can easily, happen, it may be very difficult to eliminate them with just all naturals. And so, diatomaceous earth, pepper extract, lemongrass, there's a million different types of all naturals out there. You should still take those to your doctor and make sure that they're still safe to be applied around your newborn child. But if they are, and you decide to go that route, just be aware it may be a difficult task ahead of you. Now, in regards to the furniture and the newborn child's room or expecting newborn child's room, one thing I can say, and it's a good thing, now this is just anecdotal, this is just observational, I have no data behind this, but I can say that from all the rooms that I've treated with cribs inside them, very rarely do we find bugs associated with cribs and children's furniture. I have no idea why that is, but I've been in many rooms where we have, parents sleeping in a bed, and they have the newborn child's crib next to the bed or in the room with them. And I can't tell you how many times we find bugs inside the parents' beds and nothing in the crib. Now, I don't want to give people the false sense of security. I have found bugs inside cribs, and so it's definitely something you need to consider. But something to look on the bright side is that, for whatever reason, we typically find bugs inside adult beds and other beds as opposed to cribs, which is obviously a good thing. Now, when it comes to the crib itself, the company I'm associated with typically will not apply pesticides to cribs, and if we have to, we'll try to use an all-natural to the crib itself. If we are approved to use something else in the rest of the room, we might, but to the crib itself, we're going to try to rely on all-naturals, interception devices, crib encasements. We may even go down to taking it apart, taking the actual crib apart piece by piece, and manually removing or killing all the bugs we find associated with it. Because again, I completely understand you don't want to apply pesticides around a newborn child. Now, the best option for all of this, and if it's the child's room, the crib, the furniture within, may be heat. We know heat can be very effective. You can go check out other bedbug TV videos that talk about heat treatment of homes and rooms and furniture. if you could either heat treat the apartment or house that the newborn child or pregnant mother is in, or you could heat treat the furniture itself. So I come in here and maybe I build a little heat box and heat up this furniture. That may be your best bet, because that way we're not introducing pesticide to the crib that I have here next to me, and we're also treating it in a very effective way where I know if I heat treat this furniture for a long enough period of time, there's pretty much almost no chance that there's going to be bed bugs still left inside of it. And so now you're not introducing pesticide and you're heat treating the furniture. Something to consider proactively, especially if you think there's any risk of bed bugs being introduced. Obviously, as I said, I have a 1-year-old child, and I'm out on the road doing speaking engagements all over the country, staying in hotels, so you never know when I might bring a bed bug home with me, and I'm sure many other people are in that same spot. If that's the case, you can always also consider interception devices for the legs of the crib. The crib that I have next to me, and you can't see it because it's out of frame, would easily fit climb-up devices or other interception devices. And so it may be something worth considering to hopefully protect that crib moving forward. Outside of the legs of the bed, a crib doesn't typically have sheets touching the floor and other areas for bugs to access, and so they have to use the legs. So interception devices may be very effective on cribs. And I think that's just about it. And so, pesticide questions, direct to your physicians. If you don't want to use synthetically derived regardless, just keep in mind that all naturals may be difficult. If you catch it early on, it might be possible. And then in terms of the furniture itself, heat treatment may be the best option, and you could even resort to taking it completely apart and treating it manually that way. And so the bottom line is I get the stress you're going through. I've been through it relatively recently, and so stay the course. Be assured that you can get rid of this, especially in the child's room. You may even be able to avoid the use of pesticides. Make sure you direct your pesticide questions to your doctors. And if you have any questions, jeff.white@bedbugcentral.com. And I hope to see everybody soon enough.